So if you're anything like me, you're always on the hunt to expand and build out and collect more camera gear to help you achieve the look you want in your films and your photos, and there's always new stuff coming out. It's a really fun but really expensive creative pursuit, right? So once you've got your camera, once you've got your lens, a mic, a tripod, then you start getting into the more finer detail things. Biggest among them, in my opinion, being an ND filter. So I've been on the hunt for one for a while now because I definitely want to start creating more outdoor content. Well, I found one, the variable ND filter from Polarpro, the Peter McKinnon edition, because why not? And I was ready to buy it, but then they said, hey, you know what? We're just gonna release a new one. So I waited, I bought it. It took forever to get here, but now it's here. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. The Peter McKinnon Polarpro variable ND filter 2 to 5 stop mist edition. Is it worth the hype or just Instagram influencer fluff? Let's jump right into it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Bobby Kowecki and welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. I do cool videos like this each and every week, all about photo stuff, video stuff, photo tutorials, video tutorials, all that great content creation fun. So if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button down below, the bell icon, all that good YouTube nonsense, so you never miss out when I post a video. I post them every week. I'm trying to post more, so hit that button below. All right. So the Peter McKinnon Polarpro variable ND filter. I'm not gonna waste your time explaining what an ND filter is or why you need one. There are definitely more technical channels out there that can do that than I'll link to one down below that gives you really the nitty-gritty of what an ND filter is. But in broad strokes, it's sunglasses for your lens. That's the thing you hear all the time, right? Because when you're trying to create that cinematic look for your videos, if you're outside, if you've got your aperture wide open and your shutter speed set double your frame rate, it gets pretty bright, right? So if you don't want to compensate and lose any of that depth of field or any of that motion blur, you need an ND filter, which is the situation I found myself in. So I ordered the Peter McKinnon Polarpro 2 to 5 stop mist edition 2 filter. God, that's a long name. And it's here, so let's talk about it. First up, when you get the filter from Polarpro, it comes in like a neat little box. It's pretty great. You know, you got your filter thread on there, some Peter McKinnon signature branding, pretty tiny package. I know the old one from stuff I've seen had a bigger package that it came in, a nice photo, but that's just more junk in your house. For me, this is enough, right? I'm not here for the box. I'm here for the filter itself, which once you open it up, pretty tiny. Pretty tiny, but very dense is what I will say. It's got some heft to it, right? You got some Peter McKinnon branding on the front, but it all comes in this one little pancake of technology goodness. But you're here for the filter itself, so let's take a look at that. The thing I really enjoy about this is the all-in-one design. I think that's actually the most impressive part about this, because at its core, yes, it's a variable ND filter, and yes, those are everywhere. But I think the all-in-one design, I think the focus, almost Apple-like focus on convenience is great. So you unscrew the one side, and inside you see your ND filter, but obviously the problem is you don't want to touch it to put it on your camera. So Polarpro has come up with this great way where without touching the lens at all, you can just screw it on to your lens, right? And then the actual case itself becomes like a lens cap, which is super cool. And then the front plate just sort of clicks in there. It's awesome. I love it. I pretty much is living on my camera right now because it's much easier to just keep on the camera. It's one less thing to carry in my pack. I love it. I love the color. It's pretty cool. And it just sticks on there. Doesn't stick on too hard or anything like that. It's just a really ingenious design. Just all sits on there, easy peasy. But that's all good and well. It's a cool filter and you've got some haptic feedback, right? So instead of smoothly transitioning through the different stops, you actually have a click at each one. Cool. Didn't think I needed that, but I enjoy it. It's a nice little quality of life feature I think is neat. I mean, it doesn't take a whole bunch to look at your lens, but all the same. All right, well, what does it do? All right, so in terms of photos, we'll start there. The main time I find myself needing or wanting to use a variable ND filter is when I'm taking long exposures. The reason for that is because you're letting a lot of light in, and obviously you want to have your shutter open for as long as possible, and you want to maintain the image. So I took a photo like this, and I used the variable ND filter, and awesome, does exactly what I wanted it to. Helps me create that silky, smooth, long exposure water effect. Again, stays on the camera, super great, was able to dial it in, easy peasy, big fan. But what about video? Because that's the real bread and butter of a item like this, video, in my opinion. So let's take a look at what it does to a human subject, right? Because when you're filming people, the big hubbub behind ND filters is it helps highlights. It helps the light distribute itself evenly, which, yeah, I can attest. I definitely feel like it, A, cools off the image a bit, but B, gives me a nice sort of youthful complexion, right? Definitely smooths out the highlights in the skin. There's really no harsh light patches, right? By compare, here is it without the ND filter. A much brighter image. It's definitely, in my opinion, you're seeing a lot more of those bright highlight spots. I know it's silly, but in my ears you could look at it, right? In my sort of between my eyebrows. Pleasing image, yes, but definitely less cinematic, in my opinion. I know that word gets thrown around quite a whole bunch, but I definitely think the before and after, when you're looking at it like this, it provides a nice, smoother glow to everything. So that's sort of what it looks like on a human subject. But I got the mist edition, right? What does that even mean? Well, with the Peter McKinnon 2 to 5 stop Polarpro special mist edition super duper ND filter, it's not only a variable ND filter, but it's got a diffusion filter built in. Well, what does that mean? If you look on Polarpro's website, they've got a cool slider, but it essentially gives light a much more natural look to it, that pleasing glow that you see in films. So I just took a lamp, right? Standard light, nothing too fancy here, didn't have any cool neon, and I was able to achieve this, right? So in here, you see the middle of the bulb, bright, exposed, but you also see the outside of the lamp there, right? Everything is nice, it's soft. I really like the way this looks. The detail in the curtain is still retained. Big fan of this. But if we take the filter off, much brighter, much more blown out. Yeah, you still see the curtain, but you almost can't see the shape of the light bulb, which really detracts from the overall look. You obviously want everything to look nice and pleasant. So there you go. That's what that looks like with the mist filter. Obviously, you got to do some more testing with it, but at first glance, yeah, definitely lives up to the hype. So, all in all, the Peter McKinnon Polarpro 2 to 5 stop variable ND filter mist edition. Was it worth the money? Because it's not a cheap filter. It's not a cheap filter at all. Yes, for a couple reasons. And even if Peter McKinnon's name wasn't on this, I think this is one of the best ND filters out there right now, especially once you bundle in the Mist Edition. You get a great value because in terms of the stoppages and the sizes, Polarpro has priced them all the same. So you are able to get the filter you want, in the size you want, in the edition you want, without any real big jump in price, which is great. So that alone, I think is awesome. I think, A, the ease of use, the ease of storage, awesome. B, in just the terms of the versatility it gives you with your photography, with your videography, when you're creating, awesome. Still kind of pricey, but 100% worth the hype. All right, that was it this week, guys. Quick video. Just wanted to give you some thoughts on this phenomenal product I've been using. Let me know what you think down below. Do you use an ND filter? Is this ND filter worth the hype? Are you going to buy it? Did you pre-order it? Are you saying no way? Not for me. Whatever you think, let me know down below. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you all again real soon.